Hello and welcome back to this course on Fundamentals of Human Geography. I am your host Abhilash Sundaram, and in this video we'll discuss world population, density, distribution and growth. Timestamping has been provided in the description box below, so let's get into it. The spatial distribution of population is one of the most important topics of human geography. Why? Because men or women is the most powerful geographical factor transforming the earth at an unparalleled scale. We have made monuments and cut through continents. We have built cities on sand and turned sea into land. We have sequenced our genomes and even 3D printed our homes. Understanding the ways in which human population is organized geographically helps us to make sense of the cultural patterns, political issues, food production issues, economic development concerns, and urban systems. Ultimately, the people of a country are its real wealth. In order to serve them better, it is important to know how many men and women a country has, how many children are born each year, and how many people die, and why do they die, and whether they live in villages or cities. In this video, we'll understand why the population is growing or declining in some places and how that is based on trends in fertility, mortality, and migration. Analysis of migration will help us to understand the connection between population phenomena and other topics. For example, a natural hazard like tropical cyclone may prompt a section of population to shift to other places. Patterns of population distribution and density will help us to understand the demographic characteristics of any area. By the way, demography is the scientific study of population, primarily with respect to size, structure, composition. The characteristics associated with demography are age, gender, occupation, educational level, marital status, and income level of the people, which are essential for evidence-based policy making and successful implementation of government initiatives and schemes. By looking at this graph, which is shown on your screen, we can find the 10 most populous countries of the world. The top 3 in this graph are USA, India, and China. India is set to become the most populous country of the world by 2024, according to various estimates. Now moving on to the next topic of the chapter, which is population density. Population density is a measurement of population per unit area. It is usually measured in persons per square kilometer. A common way of calculating population density is by dividing the total population by total land area. It is necessary to understand density because each unit of land has a limited capacity to support people living on it. Without a surprise, amongst continents, Asia has the highest population density. Some densely populated areas of the world are Northeastern USA, Northwestern Europe, South Asia, Southeast Asia, whereas areas of low density are Antarctica in South Pole, where virtually no population exists except for research stations, Greenland and Iceland in North Pole, and various Central African countries. In between are the areas of medium density like South India in India, Norway and Sweden in Europe, and various other countries. They have a moderate density. So why and how is the population distributed across the globe? So for the next part, I want you all to get into your books. So let's get into it. So the unevenness in the distribution of world population can be attributed to 3 factors: geographical, economic, and socio-cultural factors. Under geographical factors, one of the factors is availability of water. Water is needed by everyone, so people prefer to live in those areas where fresh water is easily available. That's why river valleys are densely populated and deserts have less population. Next point is landforms. Landforms play an important role because people prefer to live on plains rather than mountains and hilly areas, because plains support agriculture, development of industries and transportation network, and hence offers more employment opportunities. As a result, Indo-Gangetic plains are amongst the most densely populated areas of the world. Next important factor is climate. People generally stay away from extreme climates, which is very cold or very hot, like the one in Sahara Desert, the Russia's polar regions, or Antarctica. On the other hand, places with pleasant climate attract a lot of people. A great example would be the Mediterranean region, Basically, all the countries surrounding the Mediterranean Sea, like Spain, Italy, Greece, France, they are on the travel bucket list of most people. Next up is soils. Fertile soils are very important because they offer optimal land for agricultural and allied activities. They boost the productivity of the land and consequently the income of the people engaged. The next important factors are economic factors like minerals. Areas rich in mineral deposits attract industries, which in turn attract skilled and semi-skilled workers. Regions of West Bengal, Jharkhand, Odisha are densely populated because of this reason. Next point is urbanization. What is urbanization? It simply refers to the population shift from rural to urban areas. India is urbanizing at a rapid rate, mainly due to rural to urban migration, because cities offer better employment opportunities, educational and medical facilities, transport and communication facilities. Next point is industrialization. Industrialization is basically the process by which an economy is transformed from agricultural to one based on the manufacturing of goods. Industries provide job opportunities not only to the factory workers but also indirectly to transport workers, bank employees, doctors and other service providers in and around the industrial belt. An example like the one given in the NCRT is Kobe Osaka region of Japan. Now moving on to the last factor affecting population distribution, which is social and cultural factors. Places with cultural and religious importance attract a lot of people. I'll give you two examples. First is millions of Muslims for the annual Hajj visit Mecca, a city in Saudi Arabia. On the other hand, the other place is Varanasi, which is called the spiritual capital of India, which is visited by a number of Hindu pilgrims for taking a dip in sacred waters of River Ganga. Now moving on to the next topic, which is population growth. Population growth may be positive or negative. Population growth, when expressed in absolute terms, is called growth of population, and when expressed in percentage is called growth rate of population. Three components of population change are births, deaths and migration. The crude birth rate or CBR tells us the number of births in a year per thousand of population, whereas on the other hand, crude death rate or CDR tells us the number of deaths in a year per thousand of population. So natural growth of population is calculated by subtracting births and deaths in a particular region in a given time. Apart from births and deaths, migration is another way by which the population size changes. Migration is the movement of people from one place to another. It may be temporary, permanent, or even seasonal. The place they move out from is called the place of origin, and the place they move to is called the place of destination. Now, the actual growth of population is calculated by factoring migration in. So, the new formula of actual growth of population becomes births minus deaths plus in migration, which is people moving in the country or the place, plus out migration, people moving out of the region. So a positive growth of population will happen when either the birth rates are higher than the death rates or the people are migrating into the country, and vice versa is true for the negative growth of population. But why do people migrate? It is explained by push and pull factors. Push factors are the negative factors. They tend to push people out of the region, like unemployment, political turmoil and inflation, poor living conditions, etc. Whereas pull factors on the other hand are the factors which are positive in nature, like better job opportunities, pleasant climate, peaceful environment, etc. They act as magnet and attract a lot of people. Now if we look at the trends in population growth, according to UN reports, the population of the world is estimated at 7.8 billion people in 2020. It took over 2 lakh years for the human population to reach the 1 billion mark, and only 200 more years to reach the 7 billion mark. World population exploded in the 18th century after Industrial Revolution due to technological advancements in the fields of medicine, sanitation, information technology, etc., which led to the reduction in mortality rate and increase in the life expectancy rate. Population now is growing at different speeds in different parts of the world. Growth is very slow in developed countries, whereas growth is very fast in developing countries. Population growth is the highest in Africa and the lowest in Europe. Moreover, growth rate has reduced everywhere except Africa. See, all this uncontrolled population growth has to have an impact on us. So I'll tell you what, a small increase in the population is desirable in a growing economy. However, beyond a level, it leads to problems because more people will be seeking the same limited resources, causing inflation and various other problems leading to social and political unrest. What are the impacts, issues of high population according to you? Let me know by commenting down below. So now let's talk about the last important topic of this chapter, which is demographic transition theory. So demographic transition theory, or DTT, describes how a society transforms itself from a rural agrarian illiterate society to an urban industrial and literate society. This happens in 3 stages and is called demographic cycle. By the way, according to most standard books, this happens in 4 stages, but NCERT has combined stage 2 and 3 of that theory in a single stage 2. So let's get into it. So first stage is characterized by high birth rates and high death rates. Most people in this stage are engaged in agriculture, and hence this stage is called pre-industrial. Life expectancy is pretty low and people are mostly illiterate. All the countries 200 years ago were in stage 1. Due to improvements in sanitation and health, mortality rate reduced in the second stage. However, birth rate remained high in the beginning, but it declined toward the end of the second stage. Third stage is characterized by low birth and death rates, higher income levels. The population growth is either stable or is growing very slowly. And finally, the population has been transformed into an urbanized, literate and industrial society. These stages show that human beings are extremely flexible and can adjust their fertility according to the times and needs of the situation. So the last topic of the chapter talks about population control measures. So let's think about it. Population of India is quite large, and 1% growth rate means an addition of 1 crore people every year. So effective population control measures is the need of the hour, like access to family planning services, free availability of contraceptives, and spreading of awareness of advantages of having a smaller family, and tax disincentives, which means imposing of higher taxes on people opting for larger families. These are some of the population control measures which will help us in curbing the rapid growth in population and help us achieve the sustainable development goals. And on that note, we complete the chapter. Now go get yourself a cookie because you probably haven't eaten. I hope you found the video useful. That's all for today. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.